Cover bands have been around since the start of popular music, I imagine, and by all accounts it can be a pretty well-paid gig for amateur musicians. In fact, you've got whole festivals now dedicated to just tribute acts. See Tribfest in East Yorkshire. I do enjoy some of the names of these acts, but I've never really gone in for it myself, and the original bands tend to keep their distance from what you can tell. However, the Hives have decided to get right on board with it and start their own official franchise with tribute Hive acts. It's worth mentioning that Art Brut once did this as well. Here's Eddie Argos talking about it. You mentioned the name, and the Art Brut franchise thing, I think I got my head around it. Is it where people would just call themselves Art Brut, say 22, and then do their own thing, or would it be like your songs they were doing?
It was kind of a mix. So I decided, again, like I have these stupid ideas, and then Christian Tiller would like enable them. So like I had this idea that Art Brut was the last good band name anyone could ever have, which is quite vain, I guess. Like we've taken the last good band name. I was kind of joking. So now we have to share it with everybody. So if anyone else starts a band, they have to be called Art Brut and pick a number. And then it became this franchise system. And I just sort of said it, and then I didn't have a laptop or anything at the time, but Chris had, we had a website, and Chris put it on there. And then we started getting like cover songs. Like this, the first one was like Art Brut, like Pi, 3-point, blah, blah, whatever. He lived in West Virginia. He formed a band. And then there was like a Russian Art Brut that were writing their own songs. And then there were loads of Art Bruts that Art Brut 4 I met and became friends with. Art Brut 7 were pretty nice, became friends with them too. Like it got really out of hand. Like Art Brut 7 were on, sent me an email and a link, and they've been on like some business like Forbes TV or something in America talking about franchises. Now they're a franchise of Art Brut. And then when we were back from tour, and I used to live with Mike and Jasper, and we were all kind of tired in our rooms. And then Mike heard on the radio, there's an Art Brut battle of the bands happening, like in Kentish Town, and like 5 or 6 different Art Bruts, like Art Brut 7, Art Brut 4, I think, Art Brut 10 maybe, lots of different Art Bruts, all had an Art Brut battle of the bands, but without telling us. We weren't invited or anything at this place in Kentish Town. We only heard about it because it was on XFM. I think Art Brut 7 won. Art Brut 7, their trick was they formed a band over modern art, or modern art over formed a band. I mean, I couldn't do that. So if we'd entered, we would have lost, I think, to Art Brut 7. But yeah, it was just like a funny idea that got really out of hand. And I still meet people that have badges. Look, I was Art Brut 19, I was Art Brut 103. Yeah, it's funny. Art Brut 25, they were Dutch, I think. Yeah, Art Brut 4, we became friends with Art Brut 4. Art Brut 4 came to London for like an anti-racism thing, and sort of stayed in my house and became friends. I still know Art Brut 4 now. Yeah, I don't really. It was just like a funny idea that sort of got way out of hand. And then We Are Scientists became Art Brut. I think they're Art Brut. I'm going to get it wrong. Sorry, Keith. Art Brut 44, I think. So that makes us We Are Scientists too. I guess we covered each other's songs. But yeah, it was a funny idea that sort of got out of hand. I like it when people take things I've said and go nuts with it. It was good. I miss those guys, the franchises. It's good.
But how does it work for the Hives? Here are the band explaining it themselves. Back in November they put, "We have arrived at the point where the Hives can no longer keep up with public demand for their concerts. Despite playing pretty much every day in 2023, we feel that it is stretching the personnel and still not meeting targets and desired results. We have now, after much sighing and work, come up with what we think is a most elegant solution. We need several of the Hives. Imagine a world where the Hives are playing every city all the time. That's a world we want to live in. This is where you come in. You can now start your very own The Hives and put on a show. Apply today to open the Hives franchise in your city, town or province. Rules and regulations upon application. Let's make business together and rock and roll." And then 3 days ago they announced that this application process had been successful for a few bands, saying, "The Hives are franchised. As the very first band in the world, we have spawned off into several." I'm sure Eddie Argos would have something to say about that. "Because of the eternal and insatiable demand for Hive shows. We are delighted to share the news of our French Hives shows. Those attending our shows in Nottingham, Brighton and Manchester, you the public have come forth to play pre and post the Hive shows as a start of what will surely be a worldwide eternally successful business model. Note, the real or regular The Hives will not be playing these shows, they will play their normal since long sold out show." And then we have the name of the aforementioned franchise bands, the Beehives, the Main Offenders and the High Fives. But what do you make of it? Are you into watching covers bands? If not, would this franchise setup make you more keen? Have your say in the comments.